Hello, my beautiful babies. Welcome back or welcome. Before I go any further, yes, I know why you're here. And if you want to go ahead and skip forward, the timestamps are available below. But let me just say, I did not plan on straightening my hair this day, or else I would have trimmed it in the straight form. So that's why I felt the need to show you guys the process that I take to blow dry my hair and have a Beyonce moment. Before I go ahead and trim. Okay, I try and get it as straight as I can. I take my time and I focus on my ends. So I use the tension method, and once the section is about mostly dry, I'll go ahead and do some pass-throughs with the brush, and I particularly use the perimeter of the brush and a slow dragging motion to get my ends as stretched as possible. Okay, if you guys want a detailed video on how I blow dry my hair, just let me know in the comments. But for now, I'm finishing up and we can get right into this trim. 99% of my styles or any type of technique I'm doing with my hair starts with sectioning. So I'm sectioning off a part in the middle, then I will get ready and section off a part right behind my ear, and I'll do that on both sides. The parts don't necessarily have to be very straight or perfect, but sometimes I can be a bit of a perfectionist. So if my parts look a little straight, it's because I'm a little anal, all right? I like to start in the back most of the time, so that's what I'm going to do. I made sure the back was thoroughly detangled before I did anything. And now I'm just going to begin to make some, horizontal parts in the back, okay? No particular size, no straight part. I just do my best to get about the right amount of hair from one ear to the other ear. And this is how I check to see how much hair I'm gonna cut. And I mostly did that to show you guys, and then for some reason I lost a snip of me actually cutting it. But this is how I do it. I like to pretend that someone is behind me actually cutting my hair for me. So I drag my hand down my hair in a backward motion. Then I hold it up to eye level so I can see exactly where it becomes see-through. Okay, and we'll get into that a little bit more as we continue to cut. I'm still trying to get the gist of my trim. This is one of the first cuts that I made, so I'm double checking just to make sure that I'm confident about how much I'm cutting off and about the tactic I'm using to cut off the hair. But after checking, I knew that okay, my technique is good, my tactic for actually knowing exactly where to cut is good, and I can move forward. And this is just me doing the longer side of my hair that I was just pointing to for you guys. This side of my hair grows longer, faster, and it is more of a loose pattern. So throughout this video, you'll see me reluctantly cutting it to the same length as the other side. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys again exactly how I do this. Okay, so I did another horizontal part and I sectioned off 2 pieces of hair. So really it's just that section in 2 halves. And here I am trying to show you guys again what you can see through and what you can't. But honestly, I feel like wearing the white shirt didn't even do it justice. You can see it more so when I hold it up to my face, just like I could. So I definitely recommend you holding it to eye level. But I'm pulling it back. I'm locking out my shoulder as much as I can, y'all. I'm dragging my fingers down towards the back. And then when I get closer up where it seems to go from dark to light ends, I'll slowly drag my fingers back up, and as soon as I get right past the darkness and all I see is light, I cut it off, okay? step by step, I take one of the two halves and I detangle. Then I drag my fingers on down. I check it to see if I can slide any more because I don't want to cut off anything extra that I don't have to. Then once I am happy with what is left above my fingers, I cut it off. Now, when I'm dragging my fingers down, I do find it quite important to take my time, number one, and number two, to double check, triple check. You see how I'm checking the ends and making sure that I'm slowly sliding up before I cut? That is crucial because if you rush this part, you may cut too much off or you may cut too little off, and you don't want to, one, have a disaster when you cut too much off or feel like you wasted your time because you don't cut enough. So just taking your time and dragging your fingers down and then bringing the hair to your face, okay? And the thing about bringing the hair to your face is that once you drag it to the back, you want to put that pressure on the hair between your fingers and do not slide it as you move it to face level. You just want to move the hair so that it's easier for you to see and for you to cut. But you keeping your fingers nice and tight with the hair in between is going to allow you to get the same effect of a cut that would have been effective of a person cutting your hair from behind, okay? So don't move your fingers around between checks, okay? You're just going to want to slide your fingers down to check, hold it taut, move it in front of your face to check, and if it's good on the first check, go ahead and cut it. If not, slide your fingers down again once it's behind you. Hold your hair tight, then bring it forward again to see if you have to move any further, okay? I'm preparing to trim the crown of my hair now, and nothing too crazy or different except the direction that I cut the hair. So this is at the top, and I mean, clearly if I could put it behind my head, I probably would, but luckily this way is still just as effective. So I comb my hair up and I bring it down again to eye level so that I can cut exactly what has to be cut off. And I'm checking very thoroughly before I make any form of a cut. You see me using the mirror. I put my hand in front of the other one just to make sure. And when I am sure, I snip. Now that the first pass through for the back is all done, I'm just detangling and feeling how I did, because boy, can you feel the difference. I'm working my way up to the front, and I'm practically going to do the same thing that I did in the back to the front. Only difference being I'm not going to push my hair towards the back when I'm preparing for the trim. I'm going to basically let it fall the way it naturally wants to. And if you do see me pulling back a little bit, that is just the motion of me sliding my fingers down while keeping them nice and taut, to make sure that I am cutting exactly what has to be cut off, okay? I make sure that I drag my fingers down just beneath where it is light, and sometimes I even cut off a little bit of the dark just to make sure I'm getting every bit off. And if by now you still don't know what I mean by light and dark ends, I promise you, if you're in need of a trim and you try this out, it will become so obvious what I'm speaking on, and you'll know exactly where to cut, all right? Nonetheless, just keep on watching this video, and when I get to the other side, you'll be able to get a better visual of where I cut and why. All right, my first pass through is complete. And as I'm brushing through, I did notice once again that the long side of my hair was still too long. So I chopped off a little bit more. But now I'm going to prepare for my final pass through, you guys. And this is the cherry on top of it all. And it is actually quite simple. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. And we're going to start by creating the same sections that I did to start this whole trim off, if you remember. If not, here's the visual. And remember when I made those horizontal parts in the back to do the initial trim? Now I'm going to make vertical parts, okay? And upon these vertical parts, I'm going to push them outward. I'm going to push them out as if I'm trying to push the wall with my hand. And the same technique is required. You want to keep pushing toward the wall until you get to a point where there's just light hairs over your fingers. I'm gonna make my next vertical section, and when I do so, I need to make sure that I'm adding a slither of the previous section that I just cut to this section, because it's just gonna help reinforce my cut and make sure that everything that falls out of this section, see how you see it on the side, how some of that hair came out? That hair that came out is the hair that does not need to be cut, okay? You're cutting everything that are the stragglers, the outliers. So definitely make sure with every section you do, you're adding a slither of the previous section you cut to this section to reinforce your cut. When you're a beginner, this definitely helps to remind you and keep you on track with cutting everything that has to come off and everything that does not. So don't be alarmed when you're pushing towards the wall and some of the hair does not stay between your fingers. That's what we want. That's the hair you do not need to touch. This is just a reminder that no size section is right or wrong. For me, like I said, this is my 15-minute trim. I'm just trying to gain some health back into my hair and get rid of these dead ends that have been weighing my hair down. But if you do want to see a detailed trimming video, comment down below detailed trim and I got y'all. But if you're doing this at home, just be aware that you don't have to do it as big as I'm doing sections wise. You can go smaller, and it's just whatever makes you comfortable. Overall, I just wanted to bring this technique to you guys so that you could get a gist of something simple, and hopefully you guys aren't as scared to do this, y'all. I promise you, you can do it. This part is certainly optional, but I do like to go back in and accentuate my natural shape a little bit just by dusting around the ends. And I do suggest this if you like to wear your hair in wash and goes. Maybe you can go a little bit more in depth with this and really create the shape that you like. But also, I would suggest going around and doing the final pass through method that I showed you a couple times, like maybe 3 times max. And that's not to say get scissor happy, but when you go through with that same method a few times, it really helps you to make sure that you got everything that has to be gone. Like, this could have been an even more precise trim, but it was quick for me. But those are my suggestions for y'all. I'm going to apply the same exact techniques I used in the back to the front. So I'm going to start by creating that vertical part, except this time I'm going to detangle upward as I prepare for my trim. Other than that, you guys, keep in mind everything I've talked about, all right? Keeping the hair between your fingers nice and tight. making sure you know when you're ready to slide, to check versus when you're ready to cut, all right? And allowing that hair that wants to fall because it does not need to be cut, all right? Other than that, always just remember, add a slither from the first section that you cut to the next section and you will be good to go. I'm ready to cut this long section once and for all. Reluctantly, all right, but I'ma do it. I'm really that person that just be trying to keep as much hair as possible, but at the same time, I know it's health over length. It's just, you know how it is, okay? I don't know what I thought I was doing, about to just go hack on my hair, but I told myself, Adora, you're gonna regret it, so do this the right way. And so I did. Now that my hair is fully trimmed, I'm just gonna brush it out, check out the shape, feel the softness, just enjoying. But regardless of how the shape looks, I always go back in and do a little more dusting. So once again, I'm just gonna accentuate my shape a little bit, nothing extra. This is by no means a cut, a shaping video, none of that. But this is just what I do to reinforce my natural shape without overdoing it. But I will show you in a second how I do manipulate the front of my hair, because just like the sides of my hair, like right by my ears, how that grows very long, so does the very front of my hair. So it'll kind of be like the hair around my shoulders and stuff is shorter than the hair right in front of my face. So weird, but that is natural and that's cool, but I don't like that. So after I do define the natural shape all around, I'll go ahead and create the way I want my hair to fall in my face. And if I did wear wash and goes a little bit more often, I would cut it way shorter just to give me that like defined look and kind of like that staircase look when my hair is all curly and like shrunken or whatever the case may be. But I actually haven't been wearing wash and goes like that, so I wasn't too pressed about it. And yep, I cut myself, y'all. Be careful, all right? Take your time. But other than that, I felt like it was fine because I was just doing it to make myself feel better, not really for any aesthetic reasons. But yeah, so you guys can just watch me do the other side and you'll see exactly how I go about doing my little construction. I feel like if it wasn't for me cutting myself, I wouldn't have remembered to use my comb for this. Because you see how I'm using my fingers as a slanted guide to try and make my hair cut in that direction. Really, I could have just been using my comb the whole time. So that's what I'm doing now. And I'm just going little by little because I do like to salvage as much hair as I can. I don't ever want to cut more off than I have to. So I just check in between cuts and I really look at it and determine, okay, do I want to cut more? Is it good? Is the shape how I'm going for? Just making sure, don't ever rush your cut because you can't take it back if you cut too much. And so yeah, that's everything I kept in mind. And at this point, I think I was pretty satisfied. This is my completed trim, y'all. It's giving lioness. It's giving, oh, look at that shape. Like, nah. When I tell you my hair was so soft and flowy, like, oh my gosh, like, I'm gonna just let y'all see for yourself. But I was so excited. I was like, yes, new head of hair. Who this? thank you guys for watching. I do hope you learned something and I hope you try it out, okay? Don't be scared. And you already know if you want to see more from me, because I got more for you, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.